Hey fight fans, the MMA world is on fire again, and not in a small way. Feuds are exploding, champions are being tested, and the next generation is coming for blood. Khamzat Chimaev is trading insults with Reiner De Ridder, Tom Aspinall is defending his throne, Jon Jones is still missing in action, and Ilia Topuria is out here calling himself the new face of the UFC while Conor McGregor can't seem to decide if he's retired or resurrected. It's chaos, but it's the kind of chaos we live for. So today, we're breaking down the rivalries, the rumors, and the power shifts that could change MMA forever. Because right now, every division feels one spark away from explosion. Just a few years ago, if you'd asked fans which fighters would clash between promotions, most wouldn't have guessed these two. Reiner De Ridder, the calm, analytical Dutch technician known for his mastery on the ground, versus Khamzat Chimaev, the wild-eyed Chechen wrecking machine who talks like a storm and fights like a thunderbolt. Their feud didn't start in a cage. It started online. After De Ridder's rough loss to Brendan Allen, Chimaev mocked him publicly, calling him a quitter and a guy who gave up. For a man who built his reputation on composure and discipline, those words stung. De Ridder fired back instantly, posting a photo collage of Chimaev's injuries with a simple caption, "Shut up." Fans went wild. For weeks, MMA X threads and Reddit boards exploded with fantasy matchups. Could De Ridder's calm jiu-jitsu handle Chimaev's chaos? Would the Dajistani wrestling overwhelm the Dutchman's flow? Everyone wanted to know, and neither man seemed interested in backing down. But beneath the trash talk, there's something deeper. Both fighters represent opposite philosophies. De Ridder's methodical precision versus Chimaev's reckless destruction. And that's what makes it electric. It's not just personal, it's symbolic. And if you think this feud is just for clicks, think again. Because according to insiders, Chimaev's camp has already hinted at cross-promotion interest. If that happens, if these two ever share a cage, it could be one of the most watched non-title fights in modern MMA. But while Chimaev's online wars keep him in headlines, another man's silence is starting to make more noise than anyone's words. Jon Jones. The name alone divides the MMA world like a fault line. On one side, fans who still call him the greatest of all time. On the other, people who believe his legacy is fading every day he refuses to step back into the octagon. Once upon a time, Jones was the unbeatable king, the youngest UFC champion in history, dismantling legends like they were target practice. But then came the chaos, suspensions, arrests, title strips, and the endless question, what version of Jon Jones are we really seeing? When he returned and choked out Cyril Gane in under 3 minutes, fans thought the story was back on track. The GOAT was back, but then injury, torn pec, surgery, silence. And as the months passed, one name kept echoing louder and louder, Tom Aspinall. The British phenom who dismantled everyone in front of him and captured the interim title is now the man fans call the real heavyweight champion.
But Jones?
He doesn't seem in a hurry to prove them wrong. Rumors swirled, was he ducking Aspinall? Even former fighters hinted that the matchup might never happen. Dominic Cruz said it bluntly, the only guy who could threaten Jones right now is Aspinall, and maybe that's why he's staying quiet. Jones' absence has become its own mystery. He posts cryptic Bible quotes, training clips that feel months old, and motivational tweets that sound more like farewells. For a man who once seemed untouchable, time might finally be catching up. But here's the thing about ghosts. They don't fade quietly. They return when you least expect them. And if Jones ever steps back into that cage, it won't just be another fight, it'll be a reckoning. While Jones hides in the shadows, Tom Aspinall is thriving under the spotlight. Born and raised in Manchester, the guy's story reads like something out of a movie. The humble kid who trained in a gym built by his dad, slowly evolving into the most complete heavyweight on the planet. Aspinall isn't flashy. He doesn't talk trash, he doesn't chase headlines, he just finishes fights. Quickly. Cleanly. Without mercy. When he destroyed Sergey Pavlovich to win the interim belt, fans finally saw what his teammates had been saying for years. Tom Aspinall might be the most technically gifted heavyweight ever. But that success brings new pressure. Every fight, every interview, people bring up one name, Jon Jones. And every time, Tom answers with calm precision, if Jon Jones wants to fight, I'll be here. This weekend he faces Cyril Gane, the Frenchman desperate for redemption after being humiliated by Jones. Gane's camp says he's training like a man possessed, fixing his wrestling, rebuilding his mindset. He even brought in Iranian wrestling champion Puya Ramani to tighten the holes in his ground game. But Aspinall isn't just another striker, he's fast, he's accurate, and he's got that quiet confidence that makes killers uncomfortable. As Dominic Cruz said, he's the most balanced heavyweight since prime Cain Velasquez. And that's why the UFC heavyweight division finally feels alive again. Because no matter how this fight ends, the next era has already begun. But if Aspinall is the new king, who's the storm waiting on the horizon? Enter Ilia Topuria, El Matador. Undefeated, unapologetic, unfiltered. A man who fights like every opponent personally insulted his family. Topuria's rise has been meteoric. Knockouts, confidence, swagger, he's got the aura of a young McGregor but with the discipline of a sniper. When he destroyed Alexander Volkanovski, it wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The old guard is done. And while some fans love him, others can't stand the arrogance. He calls himself the face of the UFC, flexes his designer watches, and tells reporters that everyone else is playing catch-up. Even coaches like Javier Mendez have chimed in, saying the only way to beat Topuria is to attack his weakness, kicks and Muay Thai angles. According to Mendez, you can't box with him, you've got to break his rhythm. But easier said than done, because every time someone says he's untested, Topuria walks into the cage and knocks out whoever's next. And with rumors swirling about a fight with Max Holloway, the BMF title holder who just won't quit, fans know we're one press conference away from fireworks. Still, Topuria's biggest opponent might not be in the cage. It might be his own ego. Because history shows us, in MMA, confidence can make you a star, but arrogance can make you a memory. And as the new blood takes over, one man refuses to fade quietly. Conor McGregor is the ultimate paradox. A man who built an empire with his words and nearly lost it with his actions. There's no denying it, McGregor changed the fight game forever. He made MMA global. He made trash talk an art form. And he made a fortune doing it. But fame cuts deep. From late-night altercations to canceled fights, from Hollywood projects to endless comeback teases, McGregor seems trapped between two worlds, the fighter he once was and the celebrity he became. Every few months, he posts a video of himself training sharp, explosive, looking ready to conquer again. And every time, fans go wild, he's back. But then, weeks pass, silence, another delay, another rumor. The Chandler fight was supposed to be the comeback moment. Now it feels like a myth. And behind the bravado, some insiders whisper that McGregor's body might not be what it used to be. Still, if there's one thing we know about the Irishman, it's that he thrives on defiance. He built his legacy on proving people wrong, from Aldo to Alvarez to the whole USC machine. So maybe, just maybe, that fire still burns. But whether he returns or not, one truth remains: McGregor's presence looms over the sport like a storm cloud. Love him or hate him, MMA without McGregor just doesn't feel the same. And while he's trying to find his way back, others are quietly shaping the sport's next generation. Far from the spotlight, in the deserts of Abu Dhabi, a different kind of power is growing. Khabib Nurmagomedov may have retired, but his influence hasn't faded, it's multiplied. His cousins, brothers, and students, Umar Usman and Ikram Eliskerov, are carrying the torch. Recently, the Nurmagomedov squad landed in Abu Dhabi ahead of UFC 31, with Khabib himself returning to corner Eliskerov. Even Tom Aspinall was seen exchanging respect with the Dajistani camp. Khabib might not fight anymore, but his fingerprints are still all over modern MMA, discipline, humility, and dominance. And that's what makes this new generation so fascinating. Because on one side, you've got the wild viral personalities like Chimaev and McGregor. On the other, the silent assassins trained in mountain gyms, bred to fight with purpose, not fame. Bryce Mitchell even added a dash of humor into the mix recently, going viral with a parody doctor video that had fans laughing mid-fight week. That's the beauty of MMA right now. It's unpredictable, unfiltered, and alive. From Dajistan to Dublin, Manchester to Madrid, every fighter represents a different piece of the sport's future. And it feels like we're standing right in the middle of an MMA renaissance. If there's one theme running through everything happening right now, it's this chaos. The UFC is more unpredictable than ever. Titles change hands in months, stars rise overnight, and legends vanish without warning. But maybe that's what makes MMA so addicting. Unlike boxing, where one or two names dominate for a decade, MMA resets every year. One injury, one punch, one submission, and the whole landscape shifts. Right now, Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight king, but what happens when Jon Jones returns? Ilia Topuria's confidence is unshakable, but what happens when a veteran like Holloway tests his soul? Conor McGregor is still the sport's biggest name, but what happens if he never fights again? Every storyline feels like a ticking clock, and that tension, that constant what if, is why we keep watching. So here we are, the chaos era of MMA, where respect turns into rivalry overnight, legends turn into ghosts, and every new star carries both the crown and the curse. The only question left is, who survives it? Is it the silent assassin, Tom Aspinall? The volatile storm, Ilia Topuria? The vengeful Chimaev? Or the forgotten king, Jon Jones? Or will McGregor somehow rise from the ashes one more time? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure, the fight game never sleeps, it only evolves. So before the next bombshell drops, hit that subscribe button, drop your predictions in the comments, and stay tuned. Because the next chapter of MMA is already being written, and trust me, it's gonna be wild.